expensive, we're staying at room 13. Usually airy and usually buried, and that's just how my life goes. And I don't ever try to dress to impress. Fuck you, preppy asshole. On the 14th floor where the bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the police mix, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. Now she walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Get done a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome into episode 77 of Phired Up, presented by Belly Up Media. I'm your host, Dom Consul. Yes, you heard that right. For the second time in our existence, I'll be hosting tonight's show. Unfortunately, Mike is out. He's sick with a stomach bug, and don't worry, we already roasted him in the chat, so we're not going to do it too much on the show tonight. But as always, joining me, Chris Lucia. What's up, man?
What's up, Dom?
Man, listen, what a freaking week, right? I mean, really 2 weeks. I mean, obviously we covered last week on this past week or last week's show, but what a weekend! We get 2 straight weekends of just euphoria in Philly sports. Eagles and Phillies, man. So I can't wait to dive into that.
Don't forget the Flyers too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're definitely gonna touch on the Flyers and the Sixers a little bit. But the Eagles and the Phillies really dominated. It's something we're really going to talk about on the show today. But yeah, man. So what's going on? How are you? I know you had a big weekend too. Going to both Phillies games and the Eagles game, right? You were at the
it was
game?
a 3-for-3 weekend. So got to be able to see 2 Phillies wins, and then the Eagles on Sunday Night Football take care of business, which did third quarter scared me. I'm sure you weren't too happy and too pleased at what was happening in the third quarter, but they were able to stick it out and get a dub.
Right. We will get into that a little bit. We'll also we'll talk about the amount of cockroaches in the crowd in the stands for the Eagles Cowboys. But first, we kind of brought it up on last week's show. You've been really great in giving us a top 5. I'd really like to continue that. And last week you said you gave us a top 5. Asked us our top 5 sitcoms, so I definitely wanted to get into that first. Listen, you go first, man. I want to hear the top 5.
So we went on with top 5 greatest, right?
Well, I think the way that Mike and I did it, because Mike sent me his list, I think it was more of our favorite.
Okay.
Because I think greatest is kind of subjective in a sense. So yeah, I that's the way that I kind of went with it was favorite. So fired in.
So when I pick my top 5 favorite sitcoms, I have to go based on, I guess, nostalgia, right? What at a certain moment in my life, what meant the most to me.
Sure.
So at number 5, I'm gonna go with Boy Meets World.
Okay.
As a kid, I remember that having an impact on me as a kid, and just especially when you get older and you rewatch it. So I rewatched it when I was in college,
right?
And it still held up as a good TV show. Even though it was Disney produced, it was
but it wasn't like the remake that they did, or the reboot where it's as an adult you watch it and you're like, wow, this is terrible, because it's really made for children. It's made for kids.
Yeah,
I completely agree with that.
Number 4, I'm gonna go with. So again, Fresh Off the Boat. Have you ever seen it, Dom?
I haven't. I've heard of it.
Okay, so really, funny TV show. It's about like an Asian American family that like moves from Washington D.C. down to Florida,
Okay.
and they open up like a steakhouse and like just like what how they grow up and what they had to do to survive down in Orlando.
Okay.
Number 3, I'm going with How I Met Your Mother.
Classic.
I've watched that show through about probably like 3 times, and me and my wife were getting ready to rewatch it again.
Okay.
Just because I think it still holds up.
What do you have you seen any of the new How I Met Your Father?
Okay, so I watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
And Hilary Duff, like I like Hilary Duff, but I think it's like over the top with some of their stuff. I get like Disney-esque vibes from it.
Sure, it's a bit corny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I watched the whole first episode. The whole first season. It does get better. It certainly does get better.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Listen, it's kind of hard to make like a really good sitcom like nowadays. So no, I really enjoyed it. I was like, there's only 10 episodes. We watched like we watched like 10 of them, and like the 10th one was over. Like, oh wait, this is over?
Wait, it's
like,
done?
Yeah. It's not one of those shows where like I have to watch every minute I get, but it's not as good as the original, but I did really enjoy it.
So number 2, I'm gonna go with another one that like I just remember as a kid. I'm gonna go Full House here. Like I just remember the beginnings of it. And just watching that as a kid, and I can still like put that on at any time, and be able to just have it on as a background. I think that's what makes a good sitcom, is like that it could just play in the background. And then number 1, I'm gonna go with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think Will Smith. Again, that's another one where it's just a feel good show, and they talk about real issues in there. And did you see the new Bel-Air or whatever it's called?
I did watch it. I did watch the whole first season of that.
How was that?
So okay, it's slightly different. All the characters are essentially the same. It's not so much a comedy. It's more
drama, right? Like a dramedy.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. I guess because there are comedic elements in it. Like you do laugh, but it's far more drama than comedy. Like it's kind of dark.
Really?
Like in the Fresh Prince, I feel like they poke fun at the idea that my mom, I got in a fight and my mom got scared, and it kind of gets a lot darker in Bel-Air, like in that show. But I liked it a lot. I mean, there was another show that I watched all the episodes, and I'm like, wait, this is over, and now I gotta wait for another,
I heard of it. Like Carlton's like a drug dealer in this one, right?
I don't know. I think he like dabbles in like using. I don't think it's so much dealing. But it like Jeffrey is like kind of dark in it. Like
really?
Yeah. Like he like. I don't want to give too much away because like if anybody's listening, watching, or to you if you want to watch it, but he's kind of more of like a hitman, not a hitman, but like he's more than just a butler. It's good though. It's really good though.
And then can I throw in a honorable mention?
Yeah, absolutely. I have like 4.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. New Girl. I actually really enjoyed New Girl. I think New Girl's first when my wife made me watch it, we were in college, and I was like, I'm not going to like this. But I actually really enjoy some of the episodes. And once I took Office off of Netflix, like that was my next go-to show to like just put on and just like leave it on while I'm doing stuff around the house.
For sure. So, that and what's the one with Kristen Bell, the new one? It's like newer. Like I forget what it's called. I don't remember what it's called. It's like she like goes to heaven or something, or The Good Place.
That is good. What is that called? The Good Place. The Good Place.
Yeah, that and New Girl were like in the top 25 of like this list I saw. So I was like, I've never really seen New Girl, but or I haven't seen either show really, but
they're pretty good.
yeah. So yeah, I was just kind of surprised to see them in the top 25. But here I'll read you Mike's top 5. Let me get to it. Okay, so he's got all right. So he's got a 5A and 5B. His 5A and 5B are Big Bang Theory / Modern Family. I'm not a Big Bang guy. I understand why people like it. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I don't find it funny, but again,
Neither do I.
They have a good following, so
yeah, of course. We're definitely in the minority.
Yeah.
Modern Family is good. I haven't seen much of it, but it is. Every time I have seen it, it's fairly. I do chuckle. So maybe I should watch that.
It's good. That's one that like probably I just overlooked. It's definitely a good. It's definitely a good show.
Right. Number 4, Fresh Prince, just like you had. We don't have to. We know the classic of the Fresh Prince. Number 3, an interesting one, South Park. I love South Park. It's like one of those shows kind of where I think the early stuff is better than the newer stuff, but they really still hit today, like on the new stuff.
They push the issues too.
Yeah, right. It's dark comedy, and that's what I like.
Yep.
Number 2, How I Met Your Mother, which you talked about, and number 1, I think is kind of. Listen, you like the show a lot, and I've only seen the first episode. We talked about it last week. It's Ted Lasso. I think when a show only has a season or 2, it's kind of hard to put, but it's his favorite. So I'm not going to take anything away from that. It is, from what I've seen, it is very good. So I can't say like, oh, it shouldn't be his favorite. But yeah, that's what he's got as number 1.
It will be up there once it finishes.
Yeah.
Whatever, how many seasons? Because I know they're doing season 3, and I heard that like season 4 is already like under contract for it. You've only watched 1 episode still?
Yeah, I haven't really.
Dude,
honestly,
come
I
on.
I haven't been able to watch much of anything lately. Because of like I'm watching. Well, I guess I can, but I really like watching playoff baseball and football games, and when I'm not home, I'm or when I'm not watching something, I'm usually not home. So my life is pretty crazy.
Dude,
I'm just always on the run.
In that time period since last week, I got to the Gary Busey episode of Entourage.
Okay, is that season 2?
It's still
season
in
1.
Season 1. It's still in season 1, but I got at least like 7 episodes in, and you're still on.
Yeah,
you
I know.
watched episode 1 last week when we talked about it, I think.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched episode 1 like a couple weeks ago. It wasn't even like last week.
Come on.
No, I do like it. It's just a matter of like I'm watching 100 other things right now, and like I'm gonna find the time to watch it. I am. I promise.
I think like my wife really likes it. She's a teacher because and she's really into that like social emotional learning, and like that's total like what Ted Lasso is about. So I don't know, maybe your wife might like it.
No, she likes Sudeikis. We both really like Sudeikis. I think she'd really like it, but it's just a matter of like finding like because we're behind on the new Game of Thrones show, like we're behind on like a couple other things, and it's like it's really hard to find time, and when we do find time, we're already like catching up on other things. So sometimes we watch shows like separately but together, like Bel Air. I watched like the first 3 or 4, and then said, "Hey, you should watch this." So we kind of watched it and caught up, and like, oh, did you see that episode? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's so. Mike asked for my breakdown of Entourage. Can I do that before you go?
Before I do my top 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we were in the group.
The Gary Busey episode, real quick. The Gary Busey episode is that the Josh Winefuck? Does he say Josh Winefuck?
Yeah. Yep. So my breakdown so far is, and I think I told you and Mike both this in the group chat, but like I don't know if I'm right, but I could like see like things are gonna happen just from like the first couple episodes, and again I could be totally wrong, but like
in terms of what? Like
I could see that. To me, I feel like there's going to be like push between drama and like
Vince?
Yeah, like okay, I just.
But like, what do you mean by push?
Wait, did I say push?
Yeah. Or what did you say?
I said
Like-
that there's going to be like you
tension?
can see. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Like I feel like there's like going to be more serious episodes that are built off of these episodes.
Okay.
That, and another thing that really annoys me about that show, and it's just because I like pay attention to the minor details. HBO did a really bad job so far in at least the first couple episodes with like cutting scenes and then pasting them together.
Okay.
Like,
yeah. Like,
Like
continuity, yeah.
yeah, like Mike, I know you're listening and you're rewatching it. The scene where E is at the restaurant and they're drinking I forget what sake.
Yeah, that's the first
That
episode, yeah.
whole cut scene back and forth between E and Ari. In the one scene, he has the thing in his hand, pouring it, and then they flip it to the other side, and it's across the table, and then they flip back, and he's pouring it again. I'm like, this is killing me. But that stuff it will, and I'll rewind it, and like every time where I see it happens, I'm like, Brianna, did you see that? And she's like, no, I didn't. Like, I'm like, every time it just pops in my head. But I think it's a good show. It's definitely, I'm definitely going to continue watching.
Yeah, and if you were to ever listen, they do have a podcast. It's called Victory the Podcast. You'll understand why it's called that later on. But they kind of break down how like the first season they had no money whatsoever, and they were like lucky to get like I think there. I mean, obviously like Gary Busey and like there's a lot of like pretty big names. I'm not going to name a couple. I think there are a couple that come in at the end of the season, but they had like no money to do anything. But I hear you, man. Continuity kind of like drives me crazy too.
The actor who plays E, what's his name?
Kevin Connolly.
Okay, I remember him from Disney Channel playing on that like superhero movie. He was like the villain of like the superhero family,
okay.
up and away.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what I remember him
Yeah.
as. Like I don't remember him from anything else.
He was
like,
in a sitcom actually, in the '90s. It was on for like 8 years. I forget what it's called. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but like he like dated the sister his sister in the show. Like they dated for a while in real life, and like
what?
they talk about it. Yeah, they talk about it in that podcast actually.
Oh, really?
Some good stuff. Yeah. All right. So let's get sick to it because we got a lot to cover. So like I told you, I have a couple honorable mentions. I'll give you those first. Not in order. How I Met Your Mother. Love the show. Just because, just like we said Eminem last week, there are Eminem songs that aren't in the top 5, top 10, but are still great. How I Met Your Mother is like that in my sitcoms. Everybody Loves Raymond. I absolutely grew up on that show. Love it. I love it more as I get older. Because you kind of understand. Malcolm in the Middle. Love Malcolm in the Middle. That's actually probably the first show I like binge watched. Like when like binge watching like became popular. Yeah. That and Lost. I have 2 more on my honorable mention. Bob's Burgers. Or I'm sorry, 3 more. Bob's Burgers.
So you just did a top 10.
Yeah, basically. Essentially the top 10. The first like 10 or 12 years of Family Guy.
Okay.
And then 2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen. That's like my honorable mention list. But I did make a top 5 here. I guess that's like a top 10, like you said. But number 5, it's a newer show. Well, not newer, but it did end a couple years ago. Schitt's Creek is number 5.
Oh yeah, that
you've ever seen.
No, I've definitely seen Schitt's Creek.
It's one of those shows where like it ended, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're almost finished. Like there's only 5 episodes left. There's only 2 episodes left.
Yep. And
that's one of those shows like you kind of watch the first couple episodes, and you're like, eh.
The first episode is really bad. I just am like, I remember watching that and I actually put it down and just didn't watch it, and then like we came back to like 2 months later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I could definitely see that. Then I got number 4. It just kind of goes with like the whole growing up thing, like you have like the nostalgia. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but number 4, That 70s Show. It's love the first season where like the Thanksgiving episode. It's like one of those shows, those sitcoms where like every like 2 years they'll do like a Christmas episode and a Thanksgiving episode.
Yep.
And, like I always come back to those. Number 3, just like you and Mike had in your top 5, the Fresh Prince. I think we kind of broke that down a lot.
Yeah.
Number 2, Parks and Rec. I'm gonna go Parks and Rec. It's a lot of people think this is basically my opinion. Like, a lot of people think that that it's better than The Office. I think that it's a better storyline than The Office. I just think The Office is a lot funnier.
Yeah.
So that's why it's my number 2, and number 1 is The Office.
Yeah. Yep.
The Office, I can just literally just pop it on and like what I was watching it tonight. Like, I literally, like, nothing is on, so you just pop The Office on, you're doing shit around the house.
Yep.
Eating dinner,
The Office is a great show.
Yeah.
And that's another one where, like, you have to like that kind of humor, though.
Of course.
If you don't like it, like, it took me, like, probably the 3rd time watching it for Brianna to actually, like, this is kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, that's another thing. Like, the first season is, like, you kind of got to get through the first season. Really, my number 1, I think either you or Mike said it, we weren't allowed to put it on, but definitely Seinfeld. I mean, it's a show I grew up with. It's a show I grew up with watching when my dad would watch it every day. Reruns, obviously. But it's one of those shows where, again, like, you kind of have to understand the humor and, like, kind of, like, I understand as I get older, I understand like the situations. Like, my life, I think my life is very awkward, and, like, awkward situations happen in Seinfeld happen in my life. So, like, that's why I think I enjoy it so much, and I've seen every episode maybe 100 times each. So, like, it's definitely one of those shows like The Office and I guess, like, even like The Fresh Prince. It's like, oh, that episode where this happens. Like, even like It's Always Sunny. I've never seen the whole thing of It's Always Sunny.
I love It's Always Sunny.
Right. That's the thing. There's so many great shows where, like, how do I fit this on my list? But, like, you can't.
Yeah, okay. I haven't actually ever seen an actual episode of Seinfeld, like, full from
Really?
the start to finish. No,
it's outdated. I will say that. Like, it's late 80s, early 90s. Like, and it goes through the 90s. But it's the situations are very, like, similar. Like, to me, okay, really quick, going back to Entourage. How do you feel about Ari? About Ari Gold?
I think I was telling you and Mike in the group chat.
You're not a big fan.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He gets better as it goes on, but other than him, like, I think George Costanza is them two. They're the 2 best supporting characters ever. And I don't want to give too much away, but Ari does become more of a main character as the series goes on. But I would definitely say, like, those are 2 of my favorite, like, supporting characters in a comedy or, like, dramedy. But yeah, it's just situational comedy. It's sitcom. It's some of not dark humor in Seinfeld. It's just more like awkward humor.
Yeah,
kind of like The Office. The Office is awkward and kind of dark humor. Seinfeld is very much like that.
So, I definitely got to give it, like, at least a fair shot. The reason why I don't like Seinfeld, there's an actual reason behind it. So, growing up, again, as a kid, like, I was an American Idol fan. Okay. And Seinfeld always was on before American Idol. Okay. And I was like, get this show off. Like, I want to watch American Idol. Like, when I was like 8, 9, 10, and, like, American Idol was popular.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, get this stupid show off.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. It's something that you understand as you get older, I think. Like, I didn't love it as a kid. I liked it because I had to watch it. But, like, because, like I said, my dad always had it on. And, it was one of those things, like, you sleeping on the couch, and then, as soon as you touch the remote, or I was watching.
Yeah.
So I was forced to watch 2, 3, 4 episodes a day of Seinfeld, where, like, you kind of start to understand the characters, and you're like, okay, this isn't too bad. And now that I watch it as an adult, like, I watch it every Sunday morning before football. Like, I'm like, holy shit! Like, I relate to that. But but another one that I also too, like, it's in that, like, Ted Lasso idea where, like, I think it's too early because there's not enough. But a show that I really like on TV right now is Abbott Elementary. It's super cool, super, and you understand. You're the husband of a teacher. Wait, we got a funny comment here by my wife. She hates Seinfeld, but But it's you understand as somebody who's married to a teacher, like it is funny, it's real, it's one of those shows that it's really cool because it's Philly, like she I forget what's her name, Brunson, I forget her first name, but she's from Philly, everything is Philly, it's a cool show, but like even if it was somewhere else, I think it'd still be a cool concept and fun to watch. It just makes it any bit more cooler than it is Philly.
My wife loves it. She watches it. That's a show that when she puts on, like, I'm ready to go to, like, I turn around and, like, go to bed.
We get an interesting comment here by Mike. Seinfeld, The Office, and Friends are the three most overrated shows in the history of television. I said what I said. You have to get past the first season. We've already said this on the show of The Office. Seinfeld, listen, I understand why people don't like it. That's fine. But Friends, I completely agree with. It is so overrated.
I hate Friends.
Yeah.
I don't find it funny at all.
You and me both. All right. As much as we could sit here for a whole hour and a half talking about, shooting the shit and bullshitting about sitcoms. So, let's get into this crazy weekend that we had, this crazy week that we had here. You want to go first, Eagles or Phillies?
Ba.
Let's go Eagles because we're fresh off a win last night against the Cowboys. 26-17 Sunday Night Football. It started off pretty, and then the third quarter came and it started to get ugly. And then in the end, they pulled it out. Let's kind of break it down a little bit.
Okay. So something that, like, I actually think the only reason that the third quarter got ugly is because Lane Johnson was out of that game. Like, I know that sounds like crazy to, like, blame it all on one player, but Micah Parsons was just destroying Jack Driscoll. And that, they come out of the halftime Eagles and they go 3-and-out. Then they got to punt the ball, and the Cowboys kicked the field goal right before half, right? It was 20-3 at half. They came out. Zeke just was punching them in the mouth. Well,
the Eagles came out at 3-and-out, I think, right?
Yeah.
So 3-and-out.
Yep, and then the Cowboys got the ball. So CJGJ goes down 2 right at that same moment. So, they're just picking on Kevon Wallace. I know it doesn't seem like that from, a standpoint of Cooper Rush did not have a good game, but out goes the safety and, we know where we're gonna pick and choose of where we're gonna drop those balls in.
Right,
and then,
and kind of like you said, even on both sides of the ball, it's the safety, one of the most important positions in the passing game, goes out. And then on the defensive side, like you said, Lane Johnson comes out. What are they going to do? They're going to attack the safety on offense, and they're going to attack the right tackle on defense. Yeah,
and not only did they attack, they made Hurts look like he didn't know what he was doing for about 5-6 minutes there.
Yeah,
when he was in the game, he was making bad throws. He wasn't reading correctly.
He looked like 2021 Jalen Hurts.
Parsons almost had a pick 6 there. He didn't read him dropping into coverage. And I don't blame it on Jalen Hurts in that moment. As a leader, you got to step up. But I think how do you stop that dude? How do you stop Micah Parsons?
He's an animal.
Yeah.
Dude, they were saying on the broadcast last night that he can legitimately probably play any position on defense.
Yep.
I don't know if he could play safety. I'm sure he could. He'd be a lot better than me. But yeah. I knew you'd like that one. I don't know how well he would be at safety or corner. Maybe better at safety than corner. They were just giving him so much love last night on that broadcast. He could play corner and he could play safety and he could play any of the front 7. He's a great player. I don't know if he can play corner, but he wreaks havoc. I don't know if you saw the final numbers, but when Lane Johnson was in the game, 0 sacks allowed, to Parsons, no pressures, no QB hits, and then I guess once Driscoll came in, it was 3 QB hits or 3 QB pressures or something like that.
His face in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that one guy changes the outcome of the game because there's 26 other guys on the field. But when it's a defensive end getting to the most important position, the quarterback, it could change the game immensely, and it kind of did for a little while in that third quarter.
Yeah. And then Zeke finally got his legs under him and was, and pounding the rock. Like, that's what they should have been doing from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush, just whatever anybody wants to say about him. Collingsworth was spot on last night by saying, like, he did his job.
Yeah. Yeah.
He comes out of this whole thing. Yeah, his last game, he gets beat by the Eagles on Monday Night Football, but took them, 4 wins this year?
4-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, he did his job.
Or no. Yeah, 4-1. Yeah.
He did his job. He's a backup quarterback that led that team to 4 wins. I think
absolutely.
they're really still a lot better, the Cowboys. And I think the NFC East is just stacked. For some reason, like, the Giants decided to play football this year.
Well, I think they have a decent coach. I'm not going to call him a great coach. I think they have a good coach. I think they have a good coach.
Yeah, Dable's really good.
Just imagine if they had a quarterback.
I know. I know.
I'd be. I'm not scared of them, but I'd be terrified if they actually had a legit quarterback, because that defensive line gets to the quarterback.
Yeah, Thibodeau. Did you see Thibodeau the other day?
Yeah, I did. He's. I'm not going to say he's like Micah Parsons, but he's on that. Oh my God, that was a terrible throw by Russ. Sorry, I'm watching the Monday night game.
Too.
Yeah. What was I saying here? He's not like Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, I think, is well above. He's a top 5, top 3 defensive player in the league. But he's going to be a good player, man. He's going to be somebody to, like, remember back in the day when we were growing up, it was like going against the Giants, going against Strahan, and
yep.
Who is it?
O.C. Umenyiora.
Yeah, Umenyiora. Even a little bit after JPP, like, these guys that just kind of always got to the quarterback. So, but it makes it more fun too.
It definitely does. I'd rather watch a competitive football game, than it getting, like, out of hand. And then, like, at one point last night when it was 20-0, like, I was like, time to go. Like, my brother was there, and I was like, he was like deflated. He's a Cowboy.
Did we out? I was gonna say, did we out him last week? I don't remember.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, it's like almost like deflation status, and it's like, man, they're just gonna have their way with them tonight. And I'm like, all right. So if I stay till the end of the game, like, I'm like, I got work tomorrow. I got to be up at 6 a.m. I'm like starting to think, like, and then, like, thank goodness that the Cowboys made it a game. It made it more exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and really quick too. I'm not, we got some tension between us.
I know you got Russ.
Yeah, I got Russ, and we're playing each other in fantasy. What were you up going into this game? 120 to like 89 or something, or 90?
Yep.
Yeah, and I got Russ and Cortland Sutton. You have Judy. I was gonna try to play the prank if you weren't watching the game. Like, oh my God, Judy went down. Yeah. But you're watching the game, so he is so bad.
There's Judy that he was going to. So.
Yeah. Double covered.
127 to 104.
Oh yeah, you got this.
Thanks. Putting the Maloiks on.
But yeah, listen, a rough third quarter, but they pull it out in the fourth. And listen, I was even going to bring up the idea that, like, and I said it earlier in the year, especially on the show, when Mike brought up the idea that, like, in the second half they aren't scoring, and is it a problem? And I came back and said, especially in that, was it Minnesota and who did they play week 3?
Jacksonville.
No. Didn't they play them week 4?
Oh, Washington. They didn't score in the second half hardly at all. And I'd said, if they needed to score, I think they would. And they did do it this week in the fourth quarter. But I think it might be something that I think Mike might be onto something where, like, it's something we may have to keep an eye on. Yeah.
With this team.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if that's the players. I don't know if that's a handful of things.
Yeah, I think with that, I think it just is, like, wrong place, wrong time with the team. Like, they're not clicking coming out, and then something kicks their butt where they're like, okay, like, we got to turn it on. And it's like the defense that is the ones picking them up is recently, like, having big stops, interceptions. I think they got their 9th interception yesterday.
Okay.
Which
is a lot at this point.
they didn't have 9 last year until week 14.
Yeah.
So like there's definitely some playmakers that the defense is picking them up and keeping them in these games. With Hurts, I do.
Was it Judy again?
I know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I do think that Hurts is progressing though. Like he's at least. I like my quarterback to like deal with controversy and deal with like
wanting to always get better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so like when it gets like that, the one thing that I do love though, last week and this week, when they needed to just run the ball, like they could just run the ball at will. Like there was no one was stopping them when they needed to actually, that it led to a Devontae Smith touchdown, but that drive, they just ate clock and just handed the ball off. Dickerson's starting to worry me, Dom.
Before we go into Dickerson, I want to go back to what you just said, like running the ball. It's so funny. I was watching the game last night. It's the fourth quarter, and they keep running the ball. And the first thing I thought of was, I wonder what Chris's wife is telling her right now, because last week she said how boring it was, and she was spot on, even though it won them the game and they needed to do it. I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? She's right. Like, I'm sitting here watching them run the ball, and I'm just like, all right, when are we going to win something interesting?
Yeah. Yep. In my head, I'm like, that's great. I'm like, keep it on the ground.
Yeah, of course. I completely agree. Yeah. No, why does Dickerson worry you?
He is going like we need to get used to the fact that he's going to come like in and out of games. Like the last 3 weeks, he's come out. It's only for a couple plays, but you never know what play that you're gonna have to miss and what's gonna happen on that play. Like, what happens if you bring Suopeta in and he misses an assignment and Jalen Hurts breaks his leg? Like, that's the kind of stuff that worries me when your guard's going in and out as frequent as he's going.
Right.
I just don't know what the thought process is with him. It's always lower leg injuries. Like, I don't know if like maybe this week he just keeps his feet kicked up and like doesn't do anything this week so he can get healthy. And I do think that the bye came at the perfect time for them. So a bunch of players can like, you bring Mailata out there, he's got a shoulder injury, whatever it is, he plays. Now he can rest for a week and a half, not have to worry about like punching or straining whatever muscles hurting him.
Absolutely. It's him, Kelsey, Slay, guys that got hurt last week. You know what I mean?
CJ, GJ, that did not look good. I don't know what they did.
You and I both said it. Well, you said in the chat, you said, I think he just broke his wrist. I said, he sure looks like he did.
Yeah.
Dude, it looked to me, especially in the live broadcast, they did like a kind of a close of it. It did look swollen, but then I rewinded it a bit, and it didn't look that swollen. What was it? The second quarter or the third? Was it the third quarter?
The third quarter.
Yeah, because he came out and then randomly came back in. Like they didn't even announce that he was coming back in.
He came running back on the sideline.
Yeah.
They taped him up real good, and he, and they literally, on the sidelines were like cheering him up to get into the game.
Yeah, and they also said on the broadcast, you were at the game. I don't know if you knew this, but they did. I don't think they did X-rays on him, which was good. Like it was good. That was a good sign. So they did bring him to the tent and then brought him to the back, but weren't doing X-rays. So that kind of gave you like a little bit of hope, even if he was coming back in this week. It's not a long-term thing.
The weird thing that happened is like the Lane Johnson, like he wasn't down.
Yeah.
He didn't you didn't see I don't even know what play he got hurt on, like the concussion. I don't know.
I also think too they're like, especially because of what happened in Miami a couple of weeks ago. Like I think they're really really trying to prevent them, and every team is trying to prevent that from happening to them. And I think maybe you're kind of going to see more like more cautious
preventative.
Yeah. Dude, it was a couple last week. Who was it? Somebody, I think it was the Ravens game, or it was one of the other games before the Eagles coming on, watching Red Zone, and they basically, it was the Miami game. Miami's playing, and they come up. Right? What's that?
With Bridgewater?
Yeah. They said he's not in concussion protocol, but he's in preventative protocol or something like that. Like it's just like if he's not in concussion protocall and he doesn't have a concussion, what are we doing?
Yep.
And it was just like these teams are just terrified of what's what could possibly happen to them, in the spotlight, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But sticking to the defense, I had this question for you. I was kind of hoping Mike would be here too to answer too. But of the 4 big acquisitions this offseason, not counting Nakobe Dean or Jordan Davis, the draft picks. So what's that? CJGJ, Kazir White,
Bradbury,
Hassan Reddick, and Bradbury. Those 4 guys. How would you rate those 4 of importance of, the impact that they've had on this team? Because I every time I think I make a list, we're like, okay, Bradbury's probably number 1, but then I'm like, well, CJGJ had like 10 tackles last week. He's got a couple picks. Like, he might be number 1. Then I'm thinking Kazir White is like, just out there being a monster. And then there's Hassan Reddick, who's like picking up these sacks. Like I every time I try to make a list, I'm like, I have to change my order.
So if I had like make an actual list, I think Kaiser White unfortunately would be like the lower one of, and I think the rest would all be 1 and he would be 2. Like I would think the rest of them are like this offseason so far, the one that just passed, like Howie did such a great job at getting this talent in. The only problem is like you're not gonna be able to keep them.
Right.
Like Reddick, yes, you sign Reddick to a long-term deal, right? 3-4 years.
Yep.
The rest of them were all 1-year prove-it deals, and then CJGJ is on a end of his rookie year. So like, what do you prioritize?
Right. And it's not to give, just like you said, it's not to give discredit to anybody. It's like the sitcoms or the Eminem songs where it's like just because they're last doesn't mean they're not great. No,
he's better than any linebacker the Eagles had in the past 3 years.
Yeah, of course, since that Super Bowl run, probably.
Yeah, that was a good linebacker crew. This linebacker crew is better.
Of course, I completely agree. And they're younger.
And they're not as injury prone. Like Jordan Hicks was always injury prone. Nigel Bradham was always injury prone.
Yeah, and even Kendricks, I don't think was so much injury prone, but it was like before that year, he was like he would have a good game and then 2 bad games and then 2 good games and then 2 bad games, and it was like up until that year, really in that playoff run, it was like he kind of solidified himself, and he was huge on that Julio Jones that last play of the game.
Yep. Against Atlanta.
Matt Ryan. Yeah. Yep. He kind of shadowed Matt Ryan a little bit from running.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I agree. And it's not to put them any, I think Kazir White and Edwards have both been great in the linebacker position, and it's something like you said, we haven't seen. But to me, I would go the 2 secondary guys. I think because of the 10 tackles and the continuously turning the ball, getting the ball turned over, I would say CJGJ is number 1, and then Bradbury's number 2. Because listen, aside from Slay, like, what have we had to put next to him? What have we had before him? Like, it's been a while since we've had 2 shutdown corners, and then it's been a while. And even Epps has been playing like really well lately, especially last night. Like, you got 2 safeties back there, and you know what? As much as I like Hassan Reddick, I think they still need to go out and
get a defensive end.
Yes,
absolutely.
Somebody to get to the quarterback.
Yep,
like another Chris Long.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that like last night, you have a really good interception night, but they didn't get a sack last night.
Right.
Like, come on, you got to get to the quarterback. You can get some pressures on them, but you got to get like Josh Sweat. One of you guys got to get there. I was so happy last night that did you see Jason Peters get beat?
I honestly didn't even realize there was even that. Like I completely forgot about that. Honestly,
he got booed. He got booed when well, because he made like stupid comments. I think.
But I don't think that was. I think that was kind of taken the wrong way. I don't think he really meant it as they're like. I don't want to offend anybody, but the I word, I don't think it was. I think it was more proud than anything. Like, I think it was more like, these guys, these guys and girls, these fans are just so crazy that they do questionable things sometimes. And I took it with pride. Like, honestly, I didn't have a problem with what he said at all because essentially he's not wrong. And I don't think he meant like these people are the I word, like, let's bash them. I just think it was like more like, I respect that and I enjoy that about them.
Like, you mean like us doing the Braves Tomahawk chant?
Yeah. We'll definitely get into that.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I completely, until you just said it, I completely forgot he had anything to do with the
there.
game. Yeah. That's how much of an impact he had. I mean, to be fair, like you said, they didn't give up any sacks, so.
Devontae Smith looked good.
Yeah. AJ Brown looks
Goddard
incredible.
Goddard and Brown. Goddard looks like he could get open every single play. If they could probably get him the ball every single play. I think he had a drop probably on the second drive.
Yeah. It was tipped. Yeah, it was tipped.
Oh, was it? Was it tipped?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which he still should have caught it, but it was tipped.
And then
hit him right in the chest.
Hurts missed him on like that first drive.
Yep.
Out of bounds. Like, what would you rate Hurts' play right now?
Rate how? What do you mean?
Like his overall body of like play.
I think he's been really good.
Is he your franchise quarterback right now?
Again, we've talked about this. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. I still want to see it over 18 games.
Okay.
Or 18 weeks. I want to see it in the playoffs. I'm not saying go out there and win a playoff game. I mean, I think they should because they're arguably the best team in the NFC. Arguably the best team. I think Buffalo and Kansas City are a little bit better, but I think they should win a playoff game at least. But I want to see it over because in March they're going to pay him if they're going to keep him. Like it's going to come this offseason. So I want to see like a little bit more. I want to see him stay consistent over 18 weeks, which also isn't like even the best quarterback kind of have that bad game, 2 or 3, 1 or 2 games. So I'm not worried about that part. I just want to see a full season of it before I could say, all right, here's $100 billion.
Yeah, you're our quarterback for the next 6 years.
But I will say I think it's trending that way. Like I think he's going to be that, and I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah.
And if he does it over the 18 weeks and they do pay him and he wins a Super Bowl or goes to the NFC Championship or whatever, I will sit here and say, because I'm already trending that way, that I was wrong completely.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly fine admitting that and saying that. I was hoping I was wrong.
Me too. Like, I love eating my words when I'm wrong. Like,
of course.
For the Eagles. Like, I love that.
And we recorded that for your wife?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
No, when it comes to the Eagles, I made sure. When it comes to the Eagles.
I might have to edit
dub over it.
Yeah, and I'll send it to your wife so she's got that for the next argument.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a really bad call that they picked up the flag on that Tony Pollard block in the back.
Yeah, terrible.
They showed
called the flag on
10 times.
Yeah.
At the stadium and like.
Dude, there were so many cockroaches out there. Just so many Dallas fans. And that's the thing. They are cockroaches because they come out when their team is good. Listen, I have a couple Cowboy fans in my life. I love some of them. Listen, that's the only thing I don't like about it is like, when their team is good, they come out and show up, and when their team is bad, they kind of hide away. Unless you're a real fan. But I feel like us as a fan base, we kind of don't do that. We always show up 0-16 or 16-0. But
you seem like you're quoting, you're like subtweeting Jason Kelce.
Yeah,
what he had to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but paraphrasing basically said like,
yep.
Philly shows up. They only show up when when it's time to win.
Yep. Like
meaning Dallas.
And he compared the Cowboys fans to Lakers and Yankees fans. Like that's what he compared them to.
Alabama, Yankee, Lakers, Cowboys. Yeah.
I love that dude. That dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe at the end of the game that he didn't fight when he got like tossed.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You see Mailata, who, like you said last week, or like you said earlier in the show last week, he's battling an injury. But you know what? You don't let that happen to your team captain.
Yeah.
And Mailata got in the face. Who was it? Was it Lawrence or no? Whoever 97. I think it was 97. Whoever that is. Armstrong.
It was a deep tackle. Yeah.
Okay. Throws him on his back, and you don't let that happen to two people. Your team captain and your quarterback. And sometimes the quarterback is the team captain. But right now, Jason Kelce is the team captain. He embodies Philly. He's one of the longest members, of the Eagles team. So yeah, I mean, if I'm a fan, and if I was his teammate, I probably would have punched the guy in the face.
Yep, that's like, yeah, you're dumping. But I think he's smart enough. I think they're smart enough to know like what that causes. Like you do that, you're missing next game,
dude. And you know what it is? They retaliate, and they think in their head, what would Jason Kelce want me to do?
Yeah, Jason Kelce would say, just like let them hit you and fall. You'll get a 15-yard penalty.
He and to me, and I think to you and the rest of the Philly, Philly faithful, Eagles faithful, he is a Hall of Fame player, a Hall of Fame guy, a Hall of Fame person. Like,
he might go in the Mummers Hall of Fame.
Yeah. He will be an Eagles Hall of Fame member. He will be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Just one of the most beloved players, sports figures in the city.
Yep.
The last thing about the Eagles too, and we kind of hinted on it, the fact that like they probably should go out and get a defensive end. Is there any other position you think about? Because there is one that I'm thinking of that I think they should possibly think about adding to. Is there any other position besides defensive end?
I said it the other day. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in on Cam Akers.
Okay. I agree. I think they should at least try to add some kind of running back, only for the fact that, listen, Sanders having a great year. But what has he been in the past? Injury prone. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get into a playoff run and him go down for the playoffs. And then it's Gainwell as your. I mean, right. Gainwell actually played pretty decent yesterday. He did, but I don't. He's not a bell cow. Yeah, no. I don't think it is. Yeah, exactly. Your main running back at that point becomes like Trey Sermon. I think he goes from 4 to 1, and then like they would, Boston Scott and the other Kenny Gainwell will be like your situational backs. And we've tried that already. Yeah. And listen, Scott played last night. He played. He had a couple good runs there, but I don't want to go into the playoffs with Gainwell, Sermon, and Scott as our big three. Yeah. So I don't know if I'd be interested in Akers probably. I don't know if that's the guy, but like I would like to see them add another guy to touch the ball out of the backfield. It's like Jay Ajayi-esque. Right, exactly. It really feels like it's like lining up perfectly for the trade deadline for that to happen. For sure. We're heading into the bye week. Who do they play after that? They're home to Pittsburgh, right? Yep. Yeah, so the NFC East has a really fairly easy schedule this year. The Giants have like a cakewalk. I mean, the Eagles are pretty well too. And here's the thing too: it's like it's kind of hard to say this because like you almost kind of don't want it because you want to see this team kind of lose a game or two. Yeah. Like looking at the schedule, it's like, what game are they gonna lose? I mean, they're probably gonna lose 2, 3, 4 games, whatever it is, because that's just the nature of football. Like, that's the nature of any given Sunday. But like, they're not going to lose to Indianapolis. I mean, are they going to lose to Indianapolis or Tennessee or maybe Green Bay? I don't know. The Giants, maybe. In Dallas. I think the Giants. In Dallas is going to be a loss. Like, my wife mentioned something like that. She said, "Well, what about they play on Christmas Eve, right?" And I said, "What if they have it locked up by then?" Yeah. What if it doesn't even matter? Yeah, they may. What's that? The second to last week or third to last week? Third to last week. But if the Giants, a little tough. And I think we played the Giants the last week. Right. So is that home or away? Do you know? Let me see. So yeah, I mean, listen, they're probably going to lose a game or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is. But it's like you look at the schedule and you're like, what game is it? I mean, and I think we said on the show a couple weeks ago too, or maybe I was talking to somebody else. Like, it's if they lose, or if they go from here on out, if they go like 7-6 or whatever it is, what is it in Philly? Okay, that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. But you never know. Dallas might be out of it by then.
they might be.
Eagles might be out of it then. I don't know, but
they could be.
But what was I saying here? Remind me.
You were talking about.
I talk a lot, so like sometimes I kind of lose my train of thought. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough division. We've seen the Giants. Giants are winning. The Cowboys are winning. And Washington stinks. So it's kind of been the story of our lives.
Yeah.
All three teams are good, and Washington stinks.
Yep.
So
they have Pittsburgh, Houston, Commanders, and Colts are their next four.
Look, I could see them blowing the game to like, oh no, because it's at home. It's a night game against Washington.
Yeah, it's a night game.
And it's Carson. Well, Carson's not going to be here. Broke his finger.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's out like 6 weeks.
Oh, come on.
Yep. I know you were excited for that one.
Yep.
I think they said he's out for like 6 weeks. He fractured his finger. But yeah, these next couple weeks, we'll see.
Then you got Green Bay, Tennessee, and at the Giants.
And Green Bay is a night game too, right? Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like mid-October here, and like, or we're kind of going towards the end of October these next couple of weeks. So like, it's kind of crazy to think like we just played Detroit. Like,
I know
it's already week 7. Like, so yeah. Is there anything else we want to talk about with the Eagles? Obviously next week we're not going to be able to cover them much because of the bye. I kind of hope nothing happens.
Yeah.
We don't want any news next week, so
yeah, no news is good news next week.
Right. All right, well, let's transition to the Phillies. Man,
real quick, did you see game 5 got postponed till tomorrow?
Oh, did it?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see that. It's probably better that way anyway. Before we go into the baseball, we have to do our picks. Talk about that. Our against the spread picks. And I'm also upset. Mike does the listen. I'm gonna give a huge shout out to Mike. I don't want to give him too much of a big head, but like producing and hosting and doing all this shit at once. It's not easy. Again, I give him props. He's the whole reason the show kind of
runs.
Yeah, basically the show is our Earth, and he just keeps it spinning. So I did not have the sound drops for the Eagles. Obviously we play the Eagles fight song after every win, so we'll have to play it next week, even though they have the bye. But yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to back with them. I picked them last week. Dallas -7 at Detroit.
Okay.
The return of Dak, coming off of the game against Philly. I just think it's a good comeback game for Dallas. Next, I got the Giants +3 at Jacksonville. Who is Jacksonville to be giving the 5-1 Giants 3?
Okay.
So that's my next one. And then I got Kansas City -3 at San Francisco.
Okay.
Over 45.5 Pittsburgh and Miami. Over 40.5 Green Bay and Washington. I think that Aaron Rodgers throws like 5 touchdowns next week.
Okay. My fantasy team could use it. So I don't know if he's watching or is going to listen later, but Mike, I hope you're writing these down because I certainly am not. Just because you're not on the show doesn't mean you can't help.
Yeah. You're
not off the hook completely. I'm just kidding. But no, he should be writing these down if he's listening / watching. He did text me he said, read the comments, LOL. Like, I'm doing my best here. I'll read you his picks. Week 7. He's got Saints Cardinals. He's got the Cardinals -1.5. The Giants Jags. Giants +3. The Chiefs Niners. Chiefs -3. The Lions Cowboys over 47.5. And Browns Ravens over 46.5. I think we all pretty much had the same picks. Here's mine. I got the Giants, Jags, Giants +3. It's like you hit it right on the head. Like it's they must know something we don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Watch the Jags really come out and cover. That'd be crazy. Chiefs Niners, Chiefs -3. And then I got an interesting one. I listen. I don't know why I did this, but we're here and we're here to have we're here for a good time, not a long time. The Jets at Broncos, Jets +3.5. I'm gonna go with it. They're hot right now.
Yeah, they are.
And the Broncos are just not.
Yeah, and they're playing smart football too, the Jets. They are putting the ball on the ground and letting Breece Hall just like run and run and run.
It's what happens when you don't have Joe Flacco as your quarterback.
Yeah.
You win games. I'm just kidding. Browns at Ravens over 46.5. And then Colts at Titans under 42.5. And now I will also read. Mike gave me the standings, I guess. So he went 2-3 this week. I went 3-2, and you went 2-2 because you have tonight's game.
Yeah, game I have it under 45.5. So that's looking.
You're looking good
right now.
Yeah, you're looking good. So you'll probably be 3-2 as well. Our totals, Mike. He's 9-21. He's the Phillies of May. It's at like 11 games under 500. I am 2 games over 500. I'm at 16-14, and then you are 12-16. So you're pulling in, man. You're with a win tonight, you'll be over 500 for the week. So yeah, I mean this shit isn't easy. So
yeah,
I mean you kind of have an idea at this point, but it's any given Sunday, really.
Yep.
Yeah, so we could transition to baseball. Like you said, tomorrow, the Cleveland Yankees game got postponed to tomorrow. That's also game 1 of the Phillies Padres. I'll miss the first like 3 or 4 innings. I'm pretty sick about it. But, yeah, bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, the bowling. Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't have the game on.
They will. No. They will. But I won't be able to like sit down and watch every pitch. Yeah, exactly. Because I'll be pissed off that I missed a spare and then I'll look over and like Manny Machado hits a 3-run homer. It's just kind of how it works. Well, I didn't tell you we were up 7-0 at that point.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, heading into San Diego. Well, let's talk about the Braves first. Actually, listen, I think last week's show, Mike and I both said the Phillies down 3-1 in the series. They lose game 4 at home. What do you remember? I think you had them winning, didn't you?
I did have them winning.
Yeah. In 5, I think you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I am thankful that it didn't go to 5 because I think wasn't it supposed to be at night?
Yes.
Yeah. That would have been a train wreck.
Actually, it was 4:30. It would have butted right up to the Eagles game.
Right. I guess that's not too bad. But like, what if you go to extras? You're kind of screwed.
I know.
But yeah, thankfully they didn't have to go back to Atlanta. They win in 4 games. Now, game we didn't cover at all Atlanta, right? No. So wow. Okay, so it feels like a lifetime ago that our last show. So game 1, remind me here, they go up 6 runs in the first 2 innings or first 3 innings.
3. Yep. First 3.
And they wind up winning the game. I don't have the score right in front of me.
6-5.
6-5. Okay, yeah, because Atlanta comes back.
Riley hits that home run off.
No, Olsen.
Olsen hits that home run off that one.
Yep. You're kind of nail bite finish. But the Phillies hold it out. They win 6-5. They stay. I don't want to say they stole game 1 because they came out and they played hard. They put up runs. And
they were aggressive. Like they've been very aggressive swinging the bat.
And talk about aggressive too. The 2 guys, especially the first 2 games of the series, the 2 guys that really struggled, Rhys Hoskins and Kyle Schwarber.
Yep.
But both are struggling, not for different reasons, but I feel as though that at that point, Schwarber was swinging at strike 1, which I love in the playoffs.
Yep.
If strike 1 is there, you swing the bat.
Because you never know if you're going to get another one.
Right. And it could change the game in a second. He's swinging at strike 1 down the middle. I'm fine with the aggressiveness. He's just, it's a different story missing the ball. But then Reese comes up and he swings at strike 1 in the dirt, and then he watches strike 2, gets a ball, watches strike 3. That's totally opposite. They're both struggling, but for in opposite ways. And we're combined, I think, in the playoffs up to game 2 from the first 2 games in St. Louis.
They were
game 1 and 2. They were 1 for 24, I think.
Okay.
I think Reese had a hit, or no, Schwarber. Maybe I don't know who it was, but I do know Schwarber had 2 RBIs and 2 sac flies. Both guys were really, really struggling. And then you add in JT Realmuto. I think together they were 4 for 29 or 30 or something like that. But all 3 guys, especially with the first 3 batters in the lineup, they all figured it out.
Real quick, we got yeah.
What's up,
Look
boys?
who it is.
Oh man, it's been a rough day. I'll say that.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know if I feel bad more for you or your wife.
Definitely her. I definitely feel worse for her.
You sound like shit.
I feel like it. I feel better now than I did this morning. This morning was rough. Like all throughout the night, it was rough. But I don't think anybody wants to hear about that. So
no. I will say this. We were talking about Entourage, the group chat, and it just so happened that Entourage is a 30-minute episode. So Mike was able to I'm not even gonna say it. Never mind.
Yeah,
you can use your imagination.
Yeah, I know where
Every
you're going
30
with that.
minutes.
Every 30 minutes, I got a nice little break, is what you're saying. Yeah, I did watch. I think I'm in like episode 2 or 3 of season 2. I think so. I flew past the first season today because I was just I was in bed and I couldn't move at all. So it was bad. But okay. I'm feeling a little better now. I figured I'd jump on with you guys for the last.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you plan on staying on the rest of the show? Or are we playing it by ear?
We'll play it by ear.
Okay.
I'll let you run. This is your show tonight, Dom. I'll let you run it. I'm just
I don't
here
know,
for the
man.
ride.
I think that you're here.
Nah, I'll let you run it. You do you.
I don't know, man. I feel a little bit of pressure.
There's no pressure at all. You're doing great. I was listening, as much as I could.
Yeah. Where were we?
Game 2.
Game 2. They come out game 2.
Wheeler versus
Wheeler versus who pitched for them? Fried was game 1.
Was 1.
Was that Strider?
No, Strider was 3.
No, Strider was 3.
Morton was Morton. No, Morton was 4.
Morton
right?
was game 4. We have the internet right in front of us.
I'm trying to think who their starting pitchers were.
I just saw your text, Mike.
It's fine. It's fine. Who's their second pitcher?
Wow.
He was another kid, right? Another young guy.
Hold on, I'm trying to look it up. You got it?
Right, Kyle Wright.
Kyle Wright.
Who was unbelievable this year.
Yeah, their best pitcher probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went 16-1, right? Or since
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, since like playoffs last year or something. Game 2 they come out. Listen, Wheeler and Wheeler pitched well in St. Louis. I was pumped for this game. I really was.
He pitched well in that game.
He pitched great in that game. And then here's the thing too. He hits Acuna. Acuna takes first base. He walks the next guy.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
Not only does he hit Acuna, Acuna then proceeds to make a 7-minute
yep.
performance about what had happened. Zach Wheeler's just standing there. At least the umpire should have gave time and let him throw some pitches, keep his arm loose, do something. But he's just standing there as they're talking to him, and Acuna's grabbing his arm like a little kid that just fell, and then can't put his glove on. Then he goes out the next inning and his glove's good. He can throw the ball now out of nowhere. That really got me mad.
Yeah, I agree. Acuna's a loser. That's what I've learned from that series.
He is a dead loser.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he hits Acuna. He does the little show that he puts on for 7 minutes. Takes first base. The next guy comes up. Wheeler walks him. Now Wheeler has been great through the first 5. What was it, the 6th inning? The first 5, he was great. And then I think that happened with 2 outs too.
It did.
Great the first 2 batters, and he was so great. Then obviously you get the ground ball. Reese, goes right under Reese's glove. You have to bail your guy out there. He shouldn't have hit Acuna. Shouldn't have walked the other guy. But you know what? He was so great. You have to bail your guy out. You have to get that ground ball. If he gets that ground ball and they get that out, we might have a totally different series.
Yeah.
We might have 1-3.
Yeah, the Phillies weren't hitting that game though.
No, they weren't.
So I don't know. That game, it's okay. I'm okay with them taking a loss there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because we got to see.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, The Office. I didn't like The Office. It's whatever.
Yeah, so we got a comment here. Mike Gilletto, 100% on board with all but The Office. The Office is actually funny, actually in caps.
I think that's when I said Seinfeld, Office, and Friends were.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
then
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
The bats kind of just were invisible game 2, like, and that's been kind of the story with this team, is they're just cold streaks, like it's
especially
so
the first 3 guys in the order.
Yeah, I mean,
Schwarber, Hoskins.
I had an irrational tweet that came out after, I think it was after game 2, going into game 3 or going into game.
Yeah,
he was going into game 3.
Yeah.
I said when the lineup came out and Schwarber was still number 1.
Before you say it, when I saw the tweet, I laughed because I understand your humor. Like I knew it was kind of humorous, so I was just like, haha. Like, I think people took it a little too serious.
I think so too. Let me see if I can find it.
I just think it's because I know you.
I said Rob Thompson should have his extension revoked effective immediately. This was after the Schwarber's 0 for a million, and he's still in the leadoff spot. Like, it's a fireable offense.
And Hoskins is watching strike 2 and strike 3 down the middle.
Yeah, and it's still 1-2. Like, they're just
like
gonna live and die by these guys.
I know your humor. I know you. So like, there was a little tiny bit of truth there, and then the rest of it was just you being an asshole.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I kind of chuckled at that, and then I kind of chuckled at the comments. You had that one guy with the no like avatar or whatever.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Piss poor takes as per usual.
Yeah,
which
he followed you 5 minutes before.
Literally, not even like 20 seconds before he followed me and then commented that. So as usual,
I said, what did I say to that?
You said something along those, like, I agree with that or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. I said something along the lines like, oh, I agree with that. And then you said, this guy followed me 20 seconds ago or something. And I said, oh, you just didn't know it was my burner account.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so they lose game 2. The series goes 1-1. Then they come home for game 3, which, you know, I don't care where you were in the city. You probably heard that stadium rocking.
Oh man,
you probably heard it from Jersey. I mean,
probably it was pretty close. I mean, it was nuts.
Listen, there hasn't been playoff baseball in Philly in 11 years, and we kind of saw the excitement, the reaction to that. Chris, you were there.
Yeah, it was electric in the stadium. That stadium literally was. At one point, I felt it like shaking underneath me.
So you were at both games, Chris?
I was. Yeah.
Okay.
He had better seats for game 3.
Okay.
No, game 4. No, those seats for game 4.
No, I know. Yeah, we couldn't really see left field too much.
Yeah, who cares?
They were really. It was a good view.
Yeah. I didn't even see. I think that. Okay, we'll get the game.
Yeah. But I know somebody whose son went to game 3 and said, it was also, I don't know if it was 08 or 09 that their son went to the World Series game here. They said that their son went to a World Series game. He's been to like 8 or 9 playoff games. Went to the game Friday and said there was no game like Friday.
Yeah, it was. Did you see the tweet that somebody put out that it was they had their Apple their watch?
Yeah, Ken Rosenthal.
Yeah, and it said like you might want to put like AirPods.
Yeah.
Like if you're in this kind of noise for more than 10 minutes, it'll like hurt your hearing.
Yeah.
He got that a couple times.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said that he's gotten that message a couple times on his phone about the noise level. My cat's doing something. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but yeah. So the first 3 innings kind of start off nothing really going on, nothing too much. And then they explode, right?
Yeah.
So what do we got here? What happens?
We got Alex Bohm walks.
Listen, Mike, I kind of gave you your props. I don't know if you were here for that or listening or watching.
I didn't. I don't think.
Just doing like 10 things at once. It's not easy. I did give you your props, but like I said earlier in the show, we're not gonna blow too much smoke up your ass. You know, we're not gonna give you too much of a big head.
Of course not.
But so what do we got? Game three. I was not prepared for. Listen, Mike told us that like
I got
you.
it in my head.
I got you. Mike told us that like I can't even sit here and say like I wasn't prepared for this because Mike told us at like 11 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just 8:30 came and I was like, oh shit, I should probably get shit together. And I just didn't. I thought I was gonna remember off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
I got a lot going on right now. Yeah. So what was it? The fourth inning?
Fourth inning, 2 outs. Bohm gets walked. For some reason, they keep throwing over to first. Wait, not Bohm. Marsh. Marsh.
Right. Walks 2 outs.
And-
Yep.
Yep. They keep throwing over to first. They throw over. Ball goes behind. Matt Olson has plenty of time. Throws a long throw over to third, and just it never gets there. So Marsh goes first to
I
third.
think he's throwing a hop, right?
Yeah. Yep.
See, now it's all coming back.
Stott comes up to bat, fights it off, has like a Brett Myers at bat,
Yeah, it's like an 8-pitch at bat,
hits that double.
right down the right field line.
Yep. Strider is like starting to like fall apart, and then they just automatically walk. They intentionally walk Schwarber.
At that
hang on
point,
first and second.
that's idiotic,
Yep.
in my opinion.
I agree.
Well-
Why don't you pitch to that dude?
He's an automatic out at this
Well,
point.
listen, I'll tell you why. Because he is way more likely to hit that first pitch out for a home run. It was only 1 out, I think.
It was.
So
Yeah. They were trying to get the double play. They were
Double
trying to
play,
get
yeah.
Reese to ground into a double play.
That's
yeah.
why they walked him.
Yeah,
Right.
but still, he's an automatic out. Throw him 3 pitches.
Right, I
automatic
don't
out.
disagree with you. I'm not saying I disagree with you, but thinking as a manager, you're thinking this guy hit 46 home runs this year. 1 pitch can change it. Reese is not even touching the ball.
Yeah.
Forget, at least Schwarber's swinging the bat. At least Schwarber's fouling pitches up. Reese is not hitting anything. So the thought is, let's walk him and
Yeah.
we got the double play.
Yep.
And then,
Reese hits the bomb.
yep,
First
The-
pitch swinging.
the absolute best. I wouldn't even call it a bat flip. It was
Tomahawk.
like a 2004 like Eagles like Vikings touchdown where you just spike the shit out of the football.
It was a Gronk spike.
I felt it. I felt it all the way at home. Like the place just went nuts.
It was and the left fielder didn't even move. Like it's not even
Yeah.
like he just like turned around and like just knew it was like a bomb.
I had a couple of those in Little League being the fielder. I'm dead serious. Chris, you probably know him. I'm not going to say his name. I'll tell you after the show. But I'm playing left field, and this kid comes up, and he hit it so hard. I just went. I didn't even move. I just watched it. But yeah, no. Makes it a 4-0 game. Gene Segura. Did you see how high he jumped?
Yes.
He jumped over the rail about 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gene has been playing a pretty decent series. Like both playoff games, like I don't mind him being, in the lineup. And I actually at one point, Mike, told Dom that I was more excited to see 8-9 at bat than 1-2.
Yeah.
At one point, like I was happier to see Segura Stott than I was to see Schwarber Hoskins.
They were more consistent down there, that's for
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
And then, so JT then gets a single, and then he serves up a no-doubter home run to Harper right after that.
Yeah, and then so remind me here, how does this game finish? Because it's getting pretty late here. We gotta start. We gotta start.
7.
Yeah, 7-3 or 7.
Game 3
Yeah.
was 9-1.
9-1. Like I
9-1.
said.
Correct, Mike.
Yeah, and then we move on to game 4, up 2-1. Chris and I are both at the game, sitting down the right, the third base line, left field line, and it was. I would say
we're driving in first.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the story.
So we're
driving in, talking about the game, and I put the car in. I don't know. I think we were in the parking lot. I literally
Yeah.
said to you, we were talking about the game, and I said, I think Marsh hits one of the bullpen today. And he was like,
I said, no shot. It's JT's day today. Swear to God.
like word for word. I literally said Marsh in the bullpen, and you said, no way, JT's day.
It was both of their days.
I know.
For what it's worth.
Right. So Marsh comes up his first. I think it was his first at bat in
Yep,
the third
it
inning.
was. Yep.
It's a 3-run bomb. It wasn't in the bullpen, but
It was a bomb, though. It was a
Yeah.
no-doubter homer.
yeah, dude, the place jumped.
Yep.
Like the stadium shook. And then later in the game, JT comes up, the first catcher in MLB history inside the park run. Guy behind us, he was like his 40s. His kid probably like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I heard him say to his kid, "I've been going to games forever. This is the first time I've ever seen an inside the park home run."
Yeah.
And it is for me too.
Me too.
The first catcher ever in MLB postseason history, and the third guy in the last 93 years to have one.
Yep.
So, and it's funny because Mike texted. We were in another group chat with him and his dad, and they both had said like, "Oh, I didn't think it was even going to be like. I thought it was just like a routine fly." And I said, "Really?"
Yeah.
Because
on the TV, it didn't look like he got great contact. It just kept carrying and carrying and carrying.
and everybody at the stadium went, "Whoa!" And like we just
Really?
like kind of looked, and it looked like it was going to be like 10 rows deep.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know if it hit off his glove or the wall. But then, like, if you see Acuna, like, he was a dead loser.
He had no clue.
Hardly moved.
Yeah.
Hardly moved.
He quit. He gave up. Acuna's a loser.
That's exactly what I said to Chris, too.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the game, I said, yeah, this guy quit. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
you know.
you said to me there's a reason. I think you said Mike said to you there's a reason why they won the World
I think it
Series.
was his dad, yeah.
Yeah, you're starting to see why they
Yeah.
won it without him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been to playoff games. I've been to the Eagles Saints 2014. It was crazy. I went to, and this was probably the craziest environment I've ever been to. I've ever been at, for the playoffs especially. It was, I would say, Flyers Rangers 2014 playoffs was a close second. But this was like mayhem.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And they obviously win. They clinch the series. They go to San Diego. Best of 7. I got them winning 6. And also too, I think too many people are talking about the World Series. I have an issue with that. I think
Talking
too many
about
people
the World
are looking,
Series in what way?
like, I think too many people are sitting here saying,
Getting ready for it.
yeah, like, oh, the Eagles don't play. The Eagles play Thursday night, but like I saw a tweet today, like said like the Eagles don't play Thursday night, or the Eagles play Thursday night against Houston, and there's no World Series game on that night, so we won't have to worry. And it's like, I understand we're fans, and the players should only be thinking game by game.
There's a couple reasons why I think though. It's the fact that you just beat one of the best teams in the league, the Braves,
For sure.
and the other best team got knocked out.
Yep.
So you're looking at maybe this is an easier path. Now that team also beat the best team in the league, so
The best two.
right.
They beat two really, really good
Yeah,
teams, the
the
Mets and the
Mets,
Braves. I mean,
yeah.
the Mets and the Dodgers. But also too, like, they're hot just like us. Like,
Sure.
there's a reason they're there too. And it's like, I think they win in 6. I do. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to start talking about like when the Eagles and the Phillies play, like in the World Series. Like we'll talk about this series, but I definitely don't want to sit here and like talk about like, I'd rather play this team or I'd rather play that team. And I did it already tonight with Chris before we came on. Like, I kind of want to see New York win because I think they have a shot to beat Houston. I don't think they do. I think they just have a better shot than Cleveland. But I just don't want to look forward to the World Series just yet.
Sure.
No,
I agree with you.
It makes sense.
I have the Phillies in 6 too, to be honest.
I think the Phillies win in 6 as well.
Yeah.
So, and listen, they're going in facing hot, good pitching. I mean, I think Darvish is a little overrated, but Musgrove is pitching great right now.
Yeah.
The bullpen is pitching great right now.
Blake Snell had a good outing his last outing.
And they're saying this is – go ahead.
Could you imagine if this team had Tatis?
I know.
Yeah.
Like, I do think Tatis has a little Acuna in him, so maybe it's a little different, but yeah, it's, I mean,
and
it's crazy
there's a
what they
couple
lost.
there's a couple cool storylines too. Austin Nola, Aaron Nola,
Yep.
brothers.
Yep.
The Snell versus Harper. Snell obviously threw the pitch that broke Harper's thumb or hurt his thumb or whatever. And there's another one that I can't think of. Oh, Machado and Harper. The whole like
2019.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a couple of good storylines here. What do you got, Chris? How many games? Who wins?
Phillies in 6.
Okay. All right. I like it. That brings them back to San Diego. It also gives us a chance to watch baseball on Sunday for the Phillies. Obviously, the Eagles have to bye, but I like it. I like it a lot.
The only complaint I have is a 4:30 game in an NLCS
Agreed.
is insane during the week. But
Agreed.
Yeah.
And it's probably only because the idea was that game. Would that be like game 1 or game 2?
Game 1 of the
AL?
ALCS, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been that night, but I think that probably got pushed back.
They haven't moved it back yet. I imagine they will. So maybe
The Yankees,
maybe if they move it back, I wonder if there's any chance they move back the Phillies. Probably not, but
move back in time or move back day?
No, the time.
Okay.
From 4:30 to 7:30, 8:30.
I imagine it's kind of hard only because
tickets and and I get
well,
you.
not even that. I don't think that's the issue. I think it's more TV thing, like schedule, like a scheduled something could be scheduled on.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the NFL always has it blacked out, like at the end of the year, like that last week.
Yeah.
So just in case they have to flex a game, but yeah, I mean, it's a big weekend. I legitimately, I was telling Chris earlier, I don't know if you're listening, but I have bowling tomorrow. We'll have it on, but I won't be able to like sit down and watch every pitch. And it's like, it's been so long since I've like literally like just sat here and enjoyed every single pitch. And it's just amazing.
Playoff baseball is very stressful. Like every pitch is stressful.
I tweeted that out the game 1 against St. Louis. I said it's been so long since we've had this like be worried about every single pitch. It's kind of fun but kind of stressful. But yeah, so kind of winding down here.
Before that, can I just is it a violation that I have tickets to game 4 and game 5 and I'm posting them both for sale? That I'd rather just make
how much you want for them?
300 for the one. For the one, yeah.
Like a piece for game 3 or game 4 rather.
Game 5. That they're up in the 400 level, and then game 4 we put them on for like $800.
Okay.
Yeah. But is that a violation?
No, not at all. Because if somebody's willing to pay that, then that's on them.
We also talked about yesterday on the car ride over, because you were worried that if they lost that game, you wouldn't be able to go to the Eagles-Cowboys game, and I told you fucking throw them right up, make a bag. But yeah, moving forward, the Sixers start Tuesday, or tomorrow night. They go. I think they're in Boston. That should be fun. We'll kind of dissect that a little bit. Obviously, with the Eagles bye week, we're going to have some Sixers to talk about, some Flyers. Flyers are up 2-0. I think they play tomorrow night too.
Yep.
Right?
Tampa.
So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be more to dissect with them, but it's just kind of – especially on this show, we haven't had a chance to really dive into Phillies playoffs. So that kind of, took a lot of time. So, we'll definitely dive into the Flyers.
Yeah, let's be honest. Nobody in the city gives a flying fuck about the Sixers or Flyers right now.
I wouldn't say a flying fuck about the
right now.
Sixers.
In a week or two, they might. I don't think anybody cares about the Sixers right now. Just with everything going on with the Phillies and Eagles.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say a flying, but I think more people are definitely what?
A sitting fuck, not a flying.
Sure,
a sitting
sure.
Okay.
We'll go sitting. I think people are going to be tuning in tomorrow for the Sixers. I mean, it's the first game. But more people are going to be watching the Phillies. So
100%. Yeah.
I know if I'm sitting here, I'm going back and forth, but mostly Phillies.
Yeah.
So, or I'd probably have one on the iPad, honestly, and one on the TV.
Right.
I'd probably have the Phillies on the TV and the Sixers on the iPad.
That's a move.
Yeah, like I said, the Eagles on the bye next week. I'm sure we'll get to dive into the Flyers. And to be honest with you, I haven't been able to watch the first 2 games. The first game was on for the Flyers on ESPN Plus. I don't have ESPN Plus, so I couldn't watch that one. And
Do you have Hulu?
I have Hulu, but I don't have live.
I think it's on Hulu no matter what.
Really?
The games that are exclusive, right? The games that are on the ESPN Plus are also on Hulu.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I think are they on ESPN Plus tomorrow?
I
think I saw a commercial. They play Tampa.
I could tell you. No, regular ESPN.
Okay. So I mean, I won't be home to watch it, but and the bowling alley's definitely not going to have them on over the Phillies.
No, no.
And I imagine they'll have both, and if they don't, they'll have the Phillies.
100%. Yeah.
But I am excited to watch them. I am. I mean, like I said, the first game I couldn't watch because it was on ESPN Plus, and then the second game, we're at the Phillies game. So
Yeah, I didn't watch the second game either because of the Phillies.
yeah. So I am excited to see what they got. You know.
Yeah,
we'll have more to dissect later on.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
yeah. I think that's all we got, right? We need a top 5 for next week. If you guys want to.
Cartoons.
Cartoon. Okay.
Okay. Well, all right. So.
Yes, they count. Family Guy counts.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to know. I just want to make sure.
But try to make it interesting, Dom, because you had Family Guy in your top.
Yeah, I won't even put that. I won't even put it on my.
I had South Park in mind, so
Yeah, you had South Park. So
I didn't put Seinfeld on my top 5, sitcoms. So I'll leave off Family Guy.
okay.
But how do I leave off Bob's Burgers though?
Bob's Burgers.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough to leave off. I don't know if I can leave that one off.
Okay,
I think I like that more.
Let's be specific then. Let's go specific and say top 5 like children cartoons.
like Saturday morning cartoon
Okay.
type thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I could dig that.
Okay.
All right. I'm. You know what? I was so prepared for the show to start the show. Like I even texted Mike like what he usually says. I didn't even think about how to end the show.
Dom, you killed it tonight. I'll just say that, and then you can figure out how to end it because it's been your show the entire show. I'm not gonna interfere here. I'm gonna let you do it. You know.
I don't know. I think I kind of want you to end it out. I mean, you came in. Listen,
You're like
just
the
like,
Jordan
Alvarado.
Jordan
and-
Flu game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like Mariano Rivera right now, closing it out.
I'll give you Alvarado. I don't know about Mariano, but no, I'm just kidding. Come on, close this out. Let's go.
Listen,
I got it. I got the outro ready.
Okay, do you want to hit the outro or you want me to hit the outro?
Can you hit the outro?
Yeah, I'm locked
no.
in. I can
I'm
do
gonna
I
sit
can do
back
it
and
all.
watch
Yeah,
this.
sit back and relax. We're gonna get out of here, and I don't really have much else to say because I can't talk right now. So we'll see everybody next Monday.